is made, we're rejoicing and we're glad in it. Welcome to the Ramonepreston Show, and I'm super excited because today we're going to be talking about how to create operational processes for your business. So if you're coming on, joining me live, if you're watching the replay, no matter where you are in the world, I want to say welcome to the Ramonepreston Show. My name is Ramonepreston. I'm the host of the Ramonepreston Show. Every Monday through Friday, we come here live to share information with you to help you properly start, properly structure, so that at some point you could properly scale your business, even your ministry if you're a ministry person, and your income streams. So my whole entire premise and intention and objective for this show is to give you information. Of course, I got to give it to you incrementally because we only have a certain amount of time every day on the show. But if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a leader in ministry, if you are looking to build an enterprise or any type of organizational structure, I have concepts and principles that I put together, of course, in my programs and my mentorships and my consulting and coaching and educational courses, but I put these concepts and principles in bite-sized morsels and I give them to you on this show. So I want to say thank you for joining the show today. Again, I want to talk to you today about how to create operational processes for your business. So just in case you haven't followed me for the last couple days, I want to just give you a heads up. All this month, for the next couple weeks, I'm going to be talking about different concepts and different principles that you could put to practice when it comes to your business operations, your business systems, and your business processes. One of the reasons why I'm taking the next couple weeks to talk about operations, systems, and processes because I'm going to be hosting a live small business workshop on Saturday, June the 24th. I'll share more information with you about it, just in case you would like to join me for that live one-day event. But if you're very interested in learning more about business operations, how to put a general operating system together, if you're interested in learning how to integrate the right systems and processes into your business, if you're interested in really being able to craft your vision, your mission, if you want to learn more about your core values, your KPIs, I talk about all of these things in this small business workshop. And so for the next few weeks, I'm going to be taking, small morsels of information, bite-sized pieces of data, and share with you so that you can at least see that it's important for you to understand corporate operations. It's important for you to understand systems and processes. And here's the truth. You ain't gonna have no successful business if you don't have a general operating system at some point and processes to complement that general operating system. So today I'll talk about how to create operational processes for your business. That's what we're gonna be talking about. How do you create operational processes for your business? So just to kind of speed you up to where I am in this conversation, let me explain to you a couple things leading up to you creating operational processes. I mentioned the last couple of days on the show that as an entrepreneur, it's easy for you to understand the activities that you participate in on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so every entrepreneur, no matter who you are, no matter what type of products and services that you sell, no matter what type of business that you have, if you are an entrepreneur, most of the time, your entrepreneurial endeavors are just full of activities that you are participating in to just try to make a dollar. Am I right about it? Most entrepreneurs, including me, we just wake up every day and we scrapping. We rolling up our sleeves and we trying to figure out how can we take these ideas that we have, how can we turn these ideas into products and services that people will buy so that we can make some money to take care of ourselves and take care of our families, all right? And so most entrepreneurs across the board, all they do is participate in just activities. and excuse my handwriting because it's a winning Wednesday, okay? And I've been busy all morning, and the way it looks on this board, my mind is still busy, okay? So most entrepreneurs, no matter what type of entrepreneur you are, meaning that you could be an entrepreneur selling a product, providing a service. Most of us as entrepreneurs, we just participate in activities, okay? But when you mature, or as you mature as an entrepreneur, you want to become a legitimate business owner. And every entrepreneur is not a business owner, okay? And once you go from entrepreneur, participate in a whole lot of activities every day, you just ripping and running, you wearing multiple hats, and you doing anything you could do to make $1, all right? That's the entrepreneurial activity. That's what every entrepreneur does because that's what we do, all right? At some point, you want to mature from entrepreneur who just participates in activities to a business owner who actually participates in real business operations. All right, this is the goal. The goal is to go from a hustler, a grinder, a go-getter, an entrepreneur who just participates in all these activities to becoming a legitimate business owner who participates in real business operations. I mean, just the wording sounds more sophisticated. The wording sounds more professional. The wording sounds more mature, okay? And so this is the process. We want to move from just being entrepreneurs who are participating in activities to business owners who are actually participating in business operations. Now, I want you to stay with me because once you start converting your activities into real operations, it's going to demand that you identify the areas of your business, or it's going to demand that you compartmentalize certain areas of your business so that you can be clear on what those activities or operations are and what area of your business they represent. And that brings you to the place to where you now have to create a general operating system. Now you have to specify if these are the activities that I'm participating in, that I want them to become real business operations because I want to put a body around my entrepreneurship. I want to build a body around my activities and I want to turn them into real business operations. Okay, all these things that I'm doing, I got to make sure I know what areas of my business that they fall under, what categories they fall under. I share with you the 5. So we have the executive operations, we have sales operations, and again, you may talk to somebody else, they may have different titles, different headliners, but these are the 5 that I use because they're simple, they're easy to understand, and they represent just about everything that you will ever do in your business. So you have executive operations, sales operations, marketing operations, you have financial operations, and then you have your administrative operations. Like if you use those same exact 5 right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If all you did in your business was take these 5 operations, separate them as divisions or departments or auxiliaries in your organization, you will be fine. So of course there are different names you could use, but I'm using these 5 because, and I'll put, instead of execute, I'll put executive to make it make more sense. So what that means is all your activities as an entrepreneur that you want to become legitimate business operations can now have an area or department or auxiliary within your business that they can associate to. So for example, what you do as a CEO would fall under your executive operations. Anything you do as a CEO, anything you do as a visionary. So if you're coming up with ideas, if you're doing, if you're casting a vision, if you are setting a standard for what you want the next 10 years to look like, setting goals, putting game plans together. If you have a personal assistant or virtual assistant, people working with you personally, those activities or operations would fall under your executive department, right? If there are things that you're doing for sales, you're putting a script together, you're creating a CRM, you want to track your leads that become clients or your customer base, all that will fall under sales. If you're creating content, if you're looking at putting a landing page together, you want to start doing some social media work and marketing and running ads, that will fall under your marketing. Do you understand what I'm saying? I hope it's making sense to you. If you need a bookkeeper, or if you want to track your day-to-day financial activities, that will fall under finance. Administration, if you want to put paperwork together, if you draft in contracts, if you want to track certain administrative activities for the services that you're providing. So what happens is, most people who are entrepreneurs, they stay here. All they do is just participate in activities, right? That's what all entrepreneurs do. We do 1,000 things every day. And a lot of times we don't feel like we getting nowhere because we have not contextualized those activities. Or in other words, we haven't demanded that these activities become real business operations, and we haven't separated these operations into areas that could be used to represent what exactly are we doing in our business. And this can happen just with you. It doesn't mean you need people to represent these 5 areas. What it means is what you do in these 5 areas, because most entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, they have to do all 5. You have to be the executive, you have to be the salesperson, you have to be the marketer, you got to be the finance person, you got to be the administrator. But at least if you have to be all these things, you separate them to be clear on, okay, when am I wearing the administrator's hat? When am I wearing the salesperson hat? What am I doing right now during the day that I have to put the salesperson or the executive hat on, or the marketing person? You at least need to know it, because that moves a lot of the confusion. That moves the clutter. Because if you wake up as an entrepreneur and you just start doing stuff, you sending emails out, you're making phone calls, you're looking for a vendor, you're working on your product, you're trying to service 2 or 3 clients, you jumping from all of these 5, but you're not clear what these things are that you're doing. All right? So this is how you build this thing out. Activities, operations, these 5 areas. And then once you understand this, it's easier now for you to find systems or platforms that can house the data for all of these operations. That's the purpose of a system. A system is really a platform, okay? So hopefully this is making sense to you. So let me just clean this up a little bit. So everybody that's watching me, you're an entrepreneur. You want to take your activities, turn them into operations, right? That's what you want to do. You want your operations to be identified by certain departments or certain areas. Then you want to create systems. That means you want to find platforms. Now, in this case, your platforms would be like CRMs or project management softwares that you can use, because you want to be able to take all your operations as an executive, or all the activities and operations that would represent the executive department, and you want to be able to house them on a platform. You want to take your sales activities and operations, what you're doing with generating leads, how you communicating with those leads, the names, the numbers, and the emails. You want to do the same thing for your marketing, for your finances, for your administration, and you want to have systems or platforms that house that data. If you're just following me for the last 15 minutes, you can see when you put this together in your business, it's going to start making things easy for you. It's going to start making things make sense. It's going to move the clutter and the confusion, and you ain't going to feel like you all over the place. This is how you get out of that, okay? And then once you get these systems in place, now it's easier for you to start thinking about your processes. So that's what I'm talking about today, how to create operational processes in your business, all right? So if you've been following me for the past 15 minutes, just what I've shared with you so far should have helped you build a basis and a foundation for how to actually start the process of creating operational processes for your business, all right? And the way you start that is you take all your activities as an entrepreneur, everything that you're doing every day, because if you're an entrepreneur, you're doing 1,000 things a day. And you have to make the decision that, hey, all this stuff that I do every day, calling people, networking, passing out cards, sending emails, social media posts, all this stuff that I'm doing, you know, trying to track my income and see how much money I'm making and trying to get loans and, you know, working with people, looking for virtual assistants, everything that you do, all these activities, you've got to make a decision that I've got to convert these activities into real business operations. I can't just be doing stuff every day as an entrepreneur. I got to become a business owner. And my activities have to become real business operations. And the way they become business operations is I have to first separate all my activities and categorize all my activities and make sure that everything that I do as an entrepreneur can be represented by one of these 5 areas. Because if I'm doing stuff and it doesn't represent these areas of my business, I'm wasting time. I'm not really working on my business. So when you hear people say, yeah, you need to work in your business and you need to work on your business, well, how do you work on your business? You hear people say it, oh, you need to stop working in your business. You need to learn how to also work on your business. What does it look like to work on my business? Well, working on my business means that I've got to put this type of infrastructure together so that when I'm working in my business, I know what that work represents and what type of result that work is going to produce. I'm giving you the game already, okay? And so once I identify with at least these 5 areas and I start taking all the activities, all the things that I do every day and associating them to these areas to make sure I know everything I do has an area that it can be represented. And then I have to identify with systems, platforms. Now I've got to find platforms. I got to make sure I have like a QuickBooks account for my finances. I got to make sure I have some type of project management software for my administration and my executive operations. I got to make sure I have like a good CRM for my sales and my marketing. And I've got to bring these systems or platforms together so that now I can take all my operations and activities and I can house them in the system. Once you start housing that information, once you start putting that information into that system, into that platform, into that software, into that technology, then you can begin to create operational processes for your business. All right. If you're tracking me up to this point, let me know that you're with me. Let me know you feel me. Let me know you understand what your boy's saying. You should be understanding me because I'm really breaking it down incrementally and making it clear enough so that you can stay with me. Okay. So now we want to get to the how-to part. How do I create operational processes? Well, if you did what I've just showed you so far, your processes, remember I shared this with you the other day, your processes are steps that measure your results. That's what processes are. That's what processes are. You cannot create any operational processes for your business if you don't have a system. Because if you want to create steps that measure certain results, let's say in the executive department of your business, you need data that's tracking the activities of what your executive department is doing, right? If you want to create sales processes, steps that measure the results in your sales department, you need a system, a CRM type system that houses your sales data, that tracks all your sales activities so that you can determine what are the best steps that measure the results in that area. Every area of your business is going to require the same thing. So once you start learning these principles and concepts that I'm sharing with you, the more you hear it and listen to it and learn it, the easier it gets. But the more you're going to be able to put it to practice so that you can get optimum results from your business. Everything I'm sharing with you, there was a time I didn't know none of this. There was a time I was just an entrepreneur, just creating activities every day. I just had a whole lot of activities going on, just trying to figure out what's going to work, what ain't going to work. When I'm going to make it, when I'm not going, what do I need to let go, what I need to add. I was everywhere, right? That's how I used to be. And once I started really taking my business activities or my entrepreneurial activities serious, I realized I had to create some business operations. And once I put these 5 areas together and made them like my main departments, right? My main auxiliaries, it made it easier for me to find platforms and software and technology that I could use to house all the information that I was tracking. And then once I got to the point to where I wanted to create processes for all my areas, I understood that, okay, I have to figure out what are the steps that measure the results in these areas. And so one of the ways that I measure the results in those 5 areas, or in other words, one of the ways that I create operational processes for those areas of my business is by using what I created to be the 5 R's. It's just something I came up with. It worked better for me, and it still works for me, and it has helped me tremendously, okay? So don't worry if I'm kind of skipping through some pieces of information that you feel like you're missing and you need. I have all this in the form of courses, and I have an upcoming workshop that I'm gonna walk you through all of these steps to show you how to put your own general operating system together. Because what I just shared with you and showed you is really an example of how to put a general operating system together. So creating operational processes is one aspect of your general operating system. Okay, so now let's get to, okay, this title today, how to create, come on, baby. I just want to write the title so that you can remember it. How to create operational processes for your business. So as I said, if you're going to create operational processes, what does that mean you're going to do? That means you're going to create something. You're going to create a strategy, a game plan to measure the results of certain areas of your business, all right? So if you're creating operational processes for your business, meaning that you're going to create a strategy or a game plan to measure the results in certain areas of your business. Again, it's probably going to be in the areas of these operations, right? The areas of these 5 operations that we've already covered. The area of your executive operations, the area of your sales operations, your marketing operations, your financial operations, and your administrative operations. So those are going to be the 5 areas or areas of operation that you want to create operational processes in. But again, you got to have a system. You have to have some platform that can house the data of these 5 areas. And most likely, I have a couple recommendations that I can give you, and I have I have a couple platforms that I use for my CRM, for my project management, and for my finance. So you can like if you're a solopreneur and you don't really have a team, you could get away with maybe two main platforms to house data in all 5 of these areas. For your finance, it's definitely going to be QuickBooks. You're going to have a QuickBooks account. So that's one, right? But for your executive operations, for your sales, for your marketing, and for your admin, in today's world, they have certain software, certain platforms, certain technology that you can actually track the operations of all 4 of these that's remaining in one system, because I do it. And I've worked, and me and my staff, we worked on 4 or 5 different platforms, and we still do. But I'm telling you right now, if you're a solopreneur, if you're not technological, if you don't really know a whole lot about platforms and technology and systems and processes, you can get away with covering all 5 of these areas of your business with just 2 softwares, like 2 pieces of technology, okay? Just FYI. But the way you're going to create these operational processes that measure the results in these areas is, of course, you got to have the system. And I'm telling you, you can get away with at least 2 of them. And then once you have those systems in place, I use my 5 R's to help me start tracking and measuring my results in these 5 areas. So my 5 R's, I'll share them with you real quick. And I'm not going to go in depth with them because, again, this is just one of the lessons that I teach in my courses and in my programs. And all of my students and clients, they use the same stuff I'm teaching you because it's the same stuff that I use. So it's not like I have put together all this stuff for my business and then I create a whole different form of curriculum to share with you. I'm sharing with you the same thing that I've used to build my business and that I'm using for my business. So when I talk to people and I tell them the principles and the concepts that I'm sharing with you and the strategies that I'm giving to you, I know they can get you to $1 million because they did it for me. When I share that with people, sometimes it's hard for them to believe it. Number one, because people always think you're lying. A lot of people do. You know, a lot of times people just think you lying, you capping, you on social media just, you know, because you can say anything on social media. Who gonna check it? Who gonna vet it? Who gonna hold you accountable for it? So a lot of times people don't believe it. But if you are around me enough and you get access to what my business is doing and you look under the hood of my business, you'll realize, wow, he's actually built a 7-figure organizational enterprise, and he's simplified it in a way. I had to simplify it in a way because when I first started trying to figure this stuff out, people wasn't giving me information. Even if I knew people who had successful businesses, it's not like they had courses. It's not like they were like mentoring people and showing people the ropes. A lot of times people's like, hey, they busy doing their own thing. I'm not saying they probably didn't want to, but people are just busy doing their own thing. So it's a blessing that you can find people who want to educate you and want to create curriculum, because a lot of people don't want to do that, especially people who are really running real businesses and making money. They ain't got time. They don't want to stop and create curriculum and write books. I know a lot of people who got businesses and they making a lot of money. They ain't got no books. They ain't got no courses. They ain't coaching people. All they doing is making the money. And that's where their sweet spot is. But anyway, that's for another conversation. I want to give you these 5 R's. And I use these 5 R's to create operational processes that measure the results in these 5 areas. So I create my 5 R's. I have my roles, my responsibilities, my routine, my reach, and my results. Now, again, it's a little hard for me to really go in depth to teach everything about these 5 R's, but I just want to show you so you can at least start wrapping your mind around how this works, okay? So let me show you how it works. Number 1, the role. So every person who represents a job or any person in my company that does anything or that I may anticipate to do, even if I don't have them yet, I know what area or what operational department they represent. So if I think about hiring somebody, you can name any type of person you want to hire. If it's an assistant, if it's a front office person, if it's somebody, a salesperson, a marketing person, a janitor, whoever it is, I know they represent some area of my business that falls under the banner of these 5, right? So because I know that, now I know, okay, this person I want to hire to do A, B, and C. They fall under the sales. Let's say if it's a salesperson that I want to hire. I want to hire somebody to help me make sales. I want them to make phone calls. I want them to set up appointments, schedule, whatever the situation is, right? That's a salesperson, a sales representative. Well, once I identify with that person, it's my job to make sure that I can have somewhere in my system for that salesperson's activities to be tracked, right? I want to make sure whatever the things are that this salesperson is going to do, like anybody else that works in my company, I want to have a system, some type of platform that can house all the data and track all the metrics of what that person is doing or will do, even if I haven't hired them yet. So when it comes to hiring that person, because remember, I want to measure the results in that specific area, I've got to give that person a specific role. That's where the 5 R's come in at. I got to give that person a role. Most entrepreneurs never get to this point because they don't build real businesses. So they are just ripping and running. They just doing everything, and they don't even have clearly defined roles for who they are as the executive, or for what a salesperson would do, or for what someone in the marketing department would do, or for what someone who is in the financial department or the administrative department. So you see, this is very critical if you're going to create this operational process. But this is what begins my operational process, me being able to have a clearly defined role for what that person is going to do who represents a certain department, operational department in my business, okay? Then, once we have that person's role, we want to make sure we have responsibilities within that role. So if that person is a salesperson, they have a role as a sales rep or whatever the name or the title is. Okay, what are your responsibilities? What exactly are you supposed to be doing in that role? What is it? You got to have responsibilities. Once we figure out what those responsibilities are and we're clear on it, now we can create a routine. So that means you come in 8:30 in the morning, you leave at 5, you take 2 breaks in between, a lunch break or whatever. What are you doing those 6 or 7 hours? Okay, what is your routine? You got to do this by 9, this by 10:30, this by 2, this by 4. What is the routine? You have to have a routine. Why am I doing this? And why am I so detailed with it? Because remember, I want to create operational processes. I want to make sure that in my system, I'm able to go to my executive operations, my sales, my marketing, my finance, my administration, and anything that falls under it, and see what are the measurable results in that area, and who is that person, or who are the people that represent that area, and what exactly are they doing to help create results. So they have a role. I got to give them responsibilities within that role. They have to have a routine. And then once you get to number 4, this is why I created this for me and my company, and I give it to my students and clients, and I'm sharing it with you, because once we get to reach, now this converts into, all of this is just information right here. All of this. These first three right here is just information. What's your role? My role is this. I'm the ABC officer. I'm the ABC rep. What's your responsibilities? I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this. What's your routine? 8 to 5, 9 to 4, 10 to 2, whatever the routine is, right? All that's information. Once you get to reach, this is where the numbers come in at, because now we have to quantify, we have to mathematically measure the roles, the responsibility, and the routine to see what is the reach. How many of those things have you done, or how many of the tasks do you have, and did you execute whatever that measure was that we gave you? All right, that's the reach. And then we can see the results. And most of the times, depending on what the role of that person has is, the results can actually either be numbers or the results can be dollars. There could be a financial result to that role, and there could be a number result. But even if it's not a financial result to that role, meaning that you might hire somebody who don't have a direct revenue impact on your business, but that person can free you up to make more money, to give you more revenue results, if that makes sense. Now, again, this is a little complicated. It might even be a little boring, especially if you've never really learned this stuff and you've never really taken the time to figure this stuff out. But if you're an entrepreneur, and if you feel like you're wearing multiple hats, you feel like you got a lot of activities going on every day, and you're trying to build your business and you're just confused, you're overwhelmed, it's because you don't have a general operating system. Or some of the reason is because you don't have a general operating system, and you probably just don't know how to put it together so that it can make sense, and so that you can start tracking your operational activities and measure it correctly and have clearly defined roles and responsibilities and routines, and you can see the reach and the results that you're getting. All right. So if you're one of those entrepreneurs and you don't have that, this is why I'm extending this special offer to you, because on Saturday, June the 24th, 2.5 weeks from now, Saturday, June the 24th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I want you to take note of this. Saturday, June 24th, from 10 o'clock a.m. to 4 p.m., I'm hosting a one-day small business workshop. This is a small business workshop. I am going to share with you everything that I just talked about and more. I'm going to show you how to put a general operating system together in this small business workshop. I'm going to show you how to properly craft a vision for your organization, a mission, how to put together your core values. We're going to cover your KPIs. We're going to talk about the 5 R's, your roles, responsibilities. I'm going to show you how to put a general template together for every person who is working in your business or who will potentially work for your business. So if you want to learn about corporate operations, systems, and processes so that you could get a grip on all the things that you are actively doing in your business right now, guess what? You want to be a part of this small business workshop, okay? And so the offer is 1 VIP ticket to my small business workshop, which is a $497 event. We sell these events for $497, and they're worth every dollar because it's a one-day deep dive, and I literally take the whole day to show you how to do whatever that workshop is designed to do. And this one is to show you how to put together a general operating system and processes and KPIs and how to create measurable activities for your business. So this offer today that I'm extending to you comes with 1 VIP ticket to my small business workshop, which is a $497 workshop. I'm also going to give you 2 courses. I added this as an extra bonus. I'm also giving you 2 courses. I'm going to give you 1-year access to my holding company course and startup kit. So if you don't know about holding companies, operating companies, divisions, subsidiaries, I'm giving you this course for 1 year so that you can learn the ins and outs of organizational enterprises. That's going to be very important. Even if you already have a LLC or multiple LLCs, I want you to at least have access to this information so you can learn about organizational enterprises, infrastructures. I have walkthrough video tutorials in this startup kit. I've got the documents, the forms, the operating agreements, everything you need to create LLCs for the rest of your life is in this holding company course and startup kit. So I don't just show you how to do it, but I also educate you on how to run it, how to manage it. So I'm giving you 1 year access to that course. This is a $497 program. And I'm giving you another course. This one is on understanding corporate systems and processes. So what I like to do is for all of the workshops that I host, including this small business workshop, I have courses that complement the workshop. And one of the reasons why I do that is because I want you to be prepared before you get to the workshop by taking a course before you get there. So you're already familiar. Because if you go to a one-day event or a training and you've never been introduced to any of the information that you're going to learn, like the first couple hours, you might be overwhelmed just trying to figure out like how does this work? You can't really wrap your mind around it. You know, you can't conceptualize what's being taught. See, I'm a student at life, but I'm an educator at heart. I'm an educator. I've been an educator for years. In ministry, I'm an educator, I'm a teacher. In business, I'm the same thing. So I even though I'm an educator, but I think like a student, so I know it's important that if you come to a workshop, you need to have a course before you get to the workshop so you can already wrap your mind around the concept. So if you're one of those entrepreneurs and you just feel like you're all over the place, you're scrambling because you haven't figured out how to put together an operating system for your business, how to make all the things that you're doing make sense, how to integrate the right systems and processes, I promise you, this offer is going to change your life. So I'm extending this offer. It comes with 1 VIP ticket to my small business workshop. It's a live event on Saturday, June the 24th. From 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., okay? You could join me in person here in Buckhead, Atlanta, or you could join me virtually. It's up to you. Even if you can't make it, you can get the replay, but it's gonna be worth it because this is a $497 workshop. Then I'm giving you 2 other courses on the holding company and understanding corporate systems and processes. So these 3 offers total $14.91. Like you can't even make this stuff up. You're not going to find it nowhere else on the internet. I'm offering it for $97. Like even if you paid the $97 and didn't even show up, it's worth having access to these 2 courses for 1 year for $97 and the replay to this workshop for 1 year. But I can promise you, and I know some people don't like to promise and guarantee, but I can promise you, ain't no way in this world, whether you pay $14.91, which you don't have to, or $97, there's just no way you're going to come to this workshop for 1 day. There's no way you're going to have access to these 2 courses and go through these 2 courses. There's no way you will not put a successful organizational infrastructure together. I know you will. So I want to give you access to all 3 of these, ticket to my workshop, 2 courses for 1 year. And you're not paying $14.91, you're paying $97. All you have to do is text VIP to the number you see so you can holler at me. All right? Are you ready? Are you ready to learn? Are you ready to learn? If you're ready to learn, I want you to text VIP to 678-276-8253. All right? Okay, so it looks like I'm glitching a little bit too. I might be glitching a little bit. Maybe our internet is going in and out a little bit. I think I seen some people outside doing some work, so maybe they hitting some cables or something. But anyway, if you're still watching, text VIP to 678-276-8253. We could get you onboarded today. If you text that word VIP to the number you see, we're going to reach back out to you take a few minutes over the phone to make sure that you're clear on what this offer is and the value that it can provide for you. And we can RSVP you to the workshop today, whether it's in person or virtual. We can onboard you to the 2 courses so you could start training, and it's only going to make it easier for you to understand what we teach in the workshop if you go through the courses. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining the show today. I'm looking forward to meeting you back here tomorrow, same place, same time, 12 o'clock noon, right here, ladies and gentlemen, on the Ramonepreston Show. Have an amazing